All right, everybody, welcome to update number 9 for the Love's EV charging network. It's been a little while here, but we got some new information here over the last few months, so want to get you all caught up with that. So let's start with changes since the last update. So we got a couple of new live sites. The first one is at Three Rivers, Texas. That opened back in February on the 20th. And then a more recent location is in Eads, Colorado. And I'll pull you over to the map real quick. I'll remind you there's going to be a link in the description down here to a live Google map of these locations. But you can get an idea where these are right here. So Three Rivers is down here on I-37 between Corpus Christi and San Antonio, Texas. I believe there was a previous charge point installation at the Loves there, so this is going to supplement that and kind of bring it in line with the newer Love stations. And then the Eads, Colorado site is one that Walter from the Network Architect highlighted on his alternative fuel data center update. It's right here on State Route 96, kind of in eastern Colorado. And if you take a look at the plug share map for this location, you can see that it's really the only station on this State Route 96 going west to east. And then it fills in this US 278 going north to south. So a pretty rural location. Love to see stations like this fill in gaps where EV drivers or potential EV drivers may be hesitant because there's not a lot of infrastructure around. So great to see Colorado filling that in with the Love stations there. Okay, so under construction, we got Van, Texas. Thanks to all the PlugShare users I got listed here. I tried to call them out. Frank Zappa, Rob H, Lightning 150, and Zach Weaver for all these. Van, Texas, I'll show you that one here in just a second. It's east of Dallas. And then there are numerous in Kentucky. And I believe the Shepherdsville site, if I'm remembering correctly, is one that was reported as open, but it's not really showing up consistently on the charge point back end. So that one may still be in testing status at this point. So yeah, Van, Texas is right here. This orange pin you can see is on I-20 going east of Dallas towards Shreveport, Louisiana. And then all of these orange pins in Kentucky. Here's Horse Cave, Elizabethtown, Shepherdsville. Those are all on I-65 going basically between Bowling Green and Louisville. And then last one over here is on I-24 near Calvert City. Okay, and then coming soon is Belleville, Kansas. This is per the Love's website. And Kansas is one of those states that has had some awards out for forever and just hasn't gotten these stations built. So Belleville here is on the very north end of Kansas on US 81, pretty close to the crossroads of US 36 as well. There are several awards in Kansas that are kind of with this Belleville station, so I'm wondering if these others are going to come online or at least get under construction not too far after this one. I don't see any evidence of construction for this one yet, but we'll keep an eye on it. Okay, the big news really since the last update, other than the couple of sites opening, are some pretty large awards in a couple of states. The first is Ohio. So you can see here there are 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 different stations along the various interstates of Ohio, kind of spread all over the state. Ohio, man, is just one of those states that was early on in the NEVI process, and they are knocking it out. If you are EV hesitant in Ohio, I don't know what to tell you. There's all kinds of stations online and coming online that are there to serve you. So again, you can take a look at this list, go to the interactive map, and click through all these locations as well. The other state that had awards since the last update is Oregon. They've got 6, primarily focused on this I-84 corridor that's running between Portland and we'll come over to the map here in a second. Go out to Oregon. I don't know this part of the country quite as well. It's a little a ways from me. Yeah, Boise. Okay, so going over to Boise, Idaho. So there is some existing fast charging infrastructure along this route. And in fact, several of these are at exits where there are already fast charging stations, but it's always good to have options. The other 2 are here on US 97 in Klamath Falls and Madras, I'm assuming is how that's pronounced, running north and south along this route. Okay, another item that Walter had on his alternative fuels data center update just yesterday, I believe, or the day before yesterday when this comes out, is that there were some hardware updates to some existing stations in Madera, Ripon, and Tulare, I'm assuming California. There were some old BTC power units at that site, and some recent pictures have gone in showing what appears to be the BTC Gen 4 public dispensers with a Gen 4 power cabinet. So I've kind of put the specs on here of what those cabinets can do. My understanding is that they can do dual 500 amp output to each of these dispensers. So at these sites, there are two different dispensers, each with two handles. So if everybody's charging all at once, it appears maybe they all get 90 kilowatts. 180 to each pedestal, and then that's split between the ports. It's a little unclear what the power granularity is from this cabinet. Eric from the News Coulomb channel made a comment on Walter's video that he was going to check these out. So I'm really eager to see, how these perform in the real world. But it's good to see these being upgraded. The plug share ratings on these sites were quite poor, so it appears the old hardware was not very reliable. Hopefully this will be a little better for the users of those stations. Interestingly, they're using, or appear to be using, ChargePoint as the back end for these stations, and it was EV Connect previously. So despite using the BTC hardware, they're kind of bringing them under the ChargePoint back end umbrella that the newer Love stations that use the native ChargePoint hardware are also using. Okay, just a quick update, few statistics. There are now 41 open sites. That's all CPOs, including the newest Love's branded ChargePoint stations, plus all the other ones that were just ChargePoint providers that were already at Love's before this most recent commitment to rolling out EV stations at their sites that they announced in late 2024. We now have 97 awarded sites, which is quite a backlog. And I think, like most of you, I'm eager to see these advance a little faster. Feels like we should be picking some momentum up here in the back half of the year with the dump of NEVI funds being released, provided there are no additional shenanigans related to that rollout. These should be picking up at a faster pace in the back half of 2026. We got 6 under construction, and then there are 16 EV ready sites. So if you'll recall, when Love's announced this commitment to EV charging at their stations, they said all new Loves that are going to be constructed are going to be allocated with space for charging, either for Love's to do it or for a partner to come in and take that space. So by my count, that's up to 16 now. I might be missing some of those, but I try to catch announcements for new Love sites, and usually in the press releases for those, they make mention of space for EV charging or provisions for EV charging. States with the greatest number of sites, this includes all statuses, including awarded sites, are Oklahoma, Ohio, Illinois, and Colorado. And you can see I-40, I-10, I-90, and I-70 are the interstates that have the most current and awarded upcoming locations. Pricing right now at the ChargePoint and Electric Era sites, so I'm excluding kind of the legacy sites that aren't under the Love's parent umbrella, they range from 36 cents to 74 cents a kilowatt hour, which is quite high on the high end there. The average price is around 52 cents per kilowatt hour. Interestingly, Kentucky, Colorado, and Pennsylvania are the highest, not California, which I would have expected. In fact, those new sites using the BTC hardware and the ChargePoint back in are all priced at 50 cents a kilowatt hour, which is, floating around the normal for most of these Love's locations. Lastly, the average award to open duration. So this is the time between a NEVI award and when the station opens, is currently, on the limited number of sites we have, 592 days, which is just absolutely terrible. There's no way to say it otherwise. That is far too long. Many of you know the history of the NEVI program and a lot of the red tape that you had to go through to get sites awarded and under contract, and then there were delays with the new presidential administration last year. So all of those have added up to some significant delays. We're talking close to 2 years for many of these. So let's hope that gets better. The average award date for the stations that have not been built or are under construction, so these are sites that haven't been opened but are coming, is December 28th, 2024. That's 491 days. So all of this backlog, we're we're already well into the cycle for these stations. Again, that makes me hopeful that a lot of these are going to move into construction relatively shortly. All right, I'm going to pull my video down. Hopefully I'm doing this correctly. So you can see these data tables. I'll click through these real fast. These are open sites, and these are sorted by state. So you can see Alabama here at the top of the list. Going on down to the one that's open in Ritzville, Washington. All right, here's your under construction sites. So you got the 4 in Kentucky, 1 in Van, Texas, and there's 1 in Tacoma, Washington, which I think I may have actually missed on my list from before, so apologies there. There is 1 under construction there. That's on I-5, just east of Tacoma. Here's your awarded sites, and there are several pages of these, so I'll pause for a moment and let you look. You can pause your video if you need to take a look at a specific location. Where I don't have an interstate listed, that means it's probably on a state route or secondary road. Okay, and then lastly, we've got EV ready and planned sites. So again, these are the ones that Lowe's has constructed since they announced this EV charging program and are allocated space for future EV charging. There are also a large number of planned sites in Texas. I've not recently followed up on the status of these. I'm hoping they're going to still get built, but the next time I do an update, I'll see if I can get a little more information on those. You'll notice there's also one in Macomb, Mississippi that was on the original Lowe's map. We'll see if that one actually, Macomb, Mississippi. See if that one actually comes out. All right, thanks everybody for watching. I hope you all have a great weekend. If you are a mother out there, happy Mother's Day to you. If you happen to be catching this the day it comes out. I know most of my audience is guys, but hopefully there's a couple of you out there. If you want to stick around, there'll be a slideshow of the sites that have been open since late 2024. And you can just catch that after the final screen here. Thanks again.